finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted, to grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess, your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little, used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Yes, I do this for you, y'all. Shout out to everybody. Let's turn this down. Hey, thank you guys for being here tonight. I hope you guys can hear me loud and clear. Once again, I'm doing it without my microphone. I'm getting ready to drop the microphone and just run with my webcam mic. I'm hoping you guys can hear me clearly, and we'll rock it from there. If you're on TikTok right now asking me questions, I can't see you. Move over to YouTube, ask the questions all you want. I will get to you and I will answer your questions. You guys already know the deal. It's Rico Knows, episode 6. Pretty simple. You guys drive the show. You ask me questions. I do my best to answer them. I don't always have all the right answers, but I try my best. And we keep it moving. Now, I will talk about what's trending in sports for the day. And then once I'm done talking about everything that's trending, I jump over to the chat. So all I ask you guys to do is ask one question at a time. One question at a time. That's it. That's all I need. Don't spam it, and then I'll get to you. I promise. Okay? So we'll jump into what's trending right now. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this a little bit. I'm going to turn myself small and talk to you guys. So what's trending? Jalen Kitna, child corn, I can't say the P word, but child corn charges dropped as part of a plea deal. Let's make this very clear right now. Jalen Kitna, former quarterback at Florida, son of John Kitna. If you guys don't know, John Kitna, an NFL quarterback, right? This is kind of embarrassing for the family. But Jalen Kitna played in 4 games last year for Florida. And next thing you know, he gets arrested. And here's what happened, guys. He downloaded some corn. And some of it was themed like just 18 or too young teen or something to that effect, right? I think one of the most searched for terms in corn is teen. And so he did a search for teen. And he came across some videos where the girls looked very young and they were being sexually abused. Now, everybody has their preference. Everybody has their genre that they enjoy. More power to you. I personally, I can't get down with anything teen-oriented. I have children in that age range. I like something a little more grown. That's just me. I like things with curves. And yeah, it doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. I think it's gross. But whatever gets your socks off, that's your business. But more importantly, Kitna here started sharing those videos. And he shared one of those pictures and those videos in a Discord server. And he shared it with some other people in Discord. They saw it and they said, whoa, this is underage. Now, Kitna didn't know. He just kept sharing it. And one of the people who received the photos went ahead and told the FBI, went ahead and you know, hit the alarm and said, hey, there's this guy sharing videos and pictures of underage women. So they traced the IP and they got a hold of him, and it was his account, and he admitted to it. But he thought it was just some themed videos. He thought it was nothing big. So actually, I think I believe the kid. I want to say I believe the kid. So he had 5 felony child porn charges dropped. Just dropped, bro. Because they realized we can't really charge this guy. He took a plea deal. So he pleaded guilty to some other thing. And he pleaded guilty to, and I want to say it, 2 counts of breach of peace. Breach of peace. And all I'm saying is you accidentally disrupted the peace of other people. You made them see something they didn't want to see. I'm assuming that that's what it's towards. I'm ignorant in this regard. I don't know what breach of peace is. I didn't look into it. I should have. But I saw it and I thought it'd be interesting to talk. If somebody in the chat knows what breach of peace is, then let's go. But that being said, 1 year of probation and 6 months. It can be reduced to 6 months probation. But he doesn't have to be a registered sex offender. And he took the plea deal. So the question is, does he deserve a chance to play football? And I'm going to sit here and say yes. I think he deserves every chance to play football. When you go through the judicial system in America, if you're found guilty, then you're guilty. If you're found innocent, then you're innocent. If you take a plea deal and you get lesser charges, that's what you're guilty of. I don't want to hear anything else. I think that there is a huge double standard and hypocrisy among football fans. It is ridiculous that I can see 11 Georgia football players get arrested, charges get dropped, plea deals get taken. I just watched Jalen get a deal, right? Just watched one of their defensive linemen get a deal. I just watched Tony, who was the kid? Who's the kid from Alabama who just got the charges reduced? Alabama. Tony Mitchell. I don't even have to look it up. Tony Mitchell got 3 years probation. Took a plea deal. And he's still on Alabama's football team. Completely guilty. Was resisting arrest, driving 140 miles an hour, escaping from police, had almost a pound of marijuana, half a pound, enough for distribution and sale, $7,000 cash, digital scales, guns. They put the gun charges on his passenger, but he took a 3-year plea deal. A felony. He pled no contest to a felony. Still on the team, chilling. Why is no one up in arms that Florida removed Kitna upon arrest? Kitna was arrested and charged with these things, and they kicked him out of school. They didn't wait to see if he was guilty or not. They kicked him out of school. Jakeem Jarrett gets accused of sexual assault, and everybody's in my chat telling me, Rico, who are you, the judge, executioner, all this stuff, the judge, jury, and executioner. Rico, why are you up in arms about Jarrett? Why? I said, well, because I think the university should kick him out. That's what UCF did with Justin Hodges. He did some robbery, charges got dropped. They didn't care. They were like, yo, he's expelled from here. We don't want him. But Tony Mitchell gets arrested. They don't remove him from school. Kitna gets arrested. They removed him from school. He's innocent. You wouldn't remove him from school for breach of peace. He got a third of the probation time. He got 6 months, a year. It's going to go down to 6 months probation. What are we doing? It's a double standard. And all of you SEC fans who aren't in here willing to say, hey, man, my bad. Why don't we get him back in school? I don't need a blanket response. What I need is consistency. Okay? You guys can sit there and go, well, in this situation, it looked guilty. Blah. No. I need consistency. Are we going to punish him and kick them out of school upon arrest or upon charge? Because we already know that charges don't come to fruition, right? The Louisiana prosecutor, the district attorney from Louisiana said, we're not going to bring charges on these two young men because they work out in the sun and we sit in the AC. I'm not even joking. He said they used their teenage years, their adolescent years were spent working out in the sun while we sat in the AC. That's why I'm not pressing charges on these young men. That's what he said. I'm not making this up. You can Google it. Louisiana prosecutor said, I'm not pressing charges, man. Those guys work out too hard. They got a future. I'm not taking away their future. You know what their future was? One of them started cheating in the NFL, taking steroids, PEDs on a 4-game suspension right now. And the other one, Hoodie, he never even made it to the NFL. So what are we talking about? We're talking about a double standard for athletes. But I just want to know, where are all the fans screaming up and down that a guy got arrested and the university removed him from school before he was guilty? Before he was anything. Just let me know. Oh, Hootie Jones. Hey, shout out to my fans. You know, I have some of the most knowledgeable fans out there. I really do. I just want to know. Because I want to see Jalen Kitna get a career and pursue his career and play football. He's the quarterback Florida's missing right now. Florida needs a quarterback. He's better than Graham Mertz. He's better than Jack Miller. He'd be the starting quarterback at Florida right now. He started 4 games last year. It's ridiculous that there are fans in here every day saying, you know, what are they saying? Oh, Rico, he got arrested, Tony Mitchell got arrested and took a plea deal and got 3 years probation, still on the team, never got kicked out of the university, nothing. Didn't miss a game. Tony Mitchell didn't miss a game. That dude took 3 weeks off in the spring. Holy shit, it's gross. It's gross. And don't tell me this is a racial thing, because this is a white quarterback who didn't get special treatment. This is a rich kid. This is the son of a football player, NFL football player, didn't get special treatment. And he's talented. It's not talent. It's not race. What is it? It's Georgia and Alabama having no standards. Zero. They don't have standards. Florida has standards. Florida said, we're going to remove you. If you're innocent, congrats. Go do it somewhere else. Go play ball somewhere else. You're not going to be here. Right? That's how Florida gets down. They got that kid. Who's the kid who had to go to West Florida? The recruit. Banks. Not Banks. What's his name? The kid who used the N-word. The white kid. Who's now at West Florida. Florida just said, okay, you can go play somewhere else. You did an apology? Cool. HBCUs want you? Fine. We're not going to take you. We got standards. I got a lot of respect for Florida right now. I just want to know where all the other fans are who are defending all the criminals getting arrested. Marcus Stokes, thank you very much. I thought Marcus Banks, hell of a guard. Shout out to Marcus Banks. My bad. Too many names in my head all at once. All right, y'all. So check it out. Check it out. Here's the next story. I'll get to chat. You know what? I should go to chat right after that first story, and then we'll go to the next one. I'll go to chat so I can see your guys' comments. Let's see what happened. First and foremost, I want to say something. There was a comment here early, and it's gone. I don't see it in the chat right now, but I know it was here an hour early. Somebody beat Willie Bobo in here and said, what's up? And I want to say it was Seth. So some guy, you know, Seth's one of the loyal followers. Seth came in and said, Willie Bobo, where you at? You know, just calling him out. Peace, Rico. Peace, chat. What are your thoughts on Chris Walton? Is he still heading to CU? So Sean Ruffner, he's asking about Chris Walton. This is a Division II transfer from Newberry. Kind of undersized defensive lineman, 6'2", 225, an edge rusher. Colorado has a ton of edge rushers as it is. And he got an offer. Remember, Coach Prime did his off-season camp with all the junior college players and all the transfer portal players. And one player that showed up to try out was Chris Walton. Now, Chris Walton is a collegiate wrestler. So pound for pound, this dude's incredibly strong. I think he wrestles at 197. He cuts weight down to 197, 200, whatever it is. He's just a beast of a man. Now, He got an offer for wrestling and football, but I don't ever know that he took it. I don't know that he took the offer. Remember, guys get offers all the time. I don't know if he's still transferring to Colorado. I don't know if he's on campus. I can reach out to Coach and ask. I have a lot of guys in my DMs and chat from Colorado. About half the team follows me, and I have several coaches that follow me. So I can reach out to them in my DMs if I want to. I typically try not to bother them. It's their off season right now, and when they're in season mode, the last thing they want to do is get on TikTok and answer my questions, right? I'm supposed to have answers. Rico knows. I'm supposed to know, but I don't ever ask them about the team or the roster. Sometimes they'll write me and give me information without being asked. And shout out to some of the players who show up here on YouTube and kick it with us in the chat and just let us know on a nightly basis. They just say, yo, I'm here, what's up? And they keep it real with us. We like those guys hanging out with us. So, yeah, as far as I know, Chris Walton got an offer, but I never knew he was coming. If somebody knows beyond me that he accepted the offer and he was coming, please let me know, because I don't know that. Sorry. What's up, Rico? Blessings, brother. Good to see you, Jared. Always nice to see Jared up in here. Shout out to him, one of my top tippers out there. I appreciate him. Let's get it, baby. I'm here for the knowledge and military sense of humor. Sense of humor. Okay, I'm with you. Tavares. I say I'm kind of funny, bro. I say I'm funny. Whew. Made it in time. Welcome in there. Hey, what up, Steve? Steve, I got a joke for you now that everybody's here. I got a joke for you. Here's what it is. So there's some dudes, right? They're aerodynamic professors, and they're all getting on a plane. They're getting on the plane, and they're all going to go to this conference to talk about aerodynamics, how planes are built, what's going on with planes, and technology being improved and things. When they get on the plane, they're on the tarmac, they're getting ready to take off. Over the intercom, they say, hey, guys, just so you know, the plane you're in right now is a prototype, and it was built by all of your students. Your students gave us the blueprints, the schematics, and we built a plane with your students' input. If you feel like your safety's at risk, make your way to the exit now. You can get off this plane. All the professors jump up and get off the plane. They don't want to be on the plane because their students built the plane, right? They don't trust it. They're like, we're out of here. There's one professor refuses to get up. He's just sitting there. He's like, nah, I'm not getting off this plane. So they come over to him. And they say, what's the matter? Why aren't you getting off the plane? He looks at them and he says, you did say all of our students built this plane, right? And he goes, yes. They go, yes. Do you want to get off the plane for your own safety? He goes, no. He goes, if all of our students built this plane, I am 100% sure this plane will never fly. And there you go. There's my joke for the day. Make sure you're subscribed and hammer that like button. Shout out to you. Sup, Rico? What's up, Corey Flores? Good to see you, brother. Coach AD, what up, Rico? Who do you think is the best defensive coordinator in the Pac-12? I know you're not sold on Coach Kelly, but do you think he is in the top 5? Whew. All right, so best defensive coordinator in the Pac-12. I hate subjective conversations like this. Give me a second. Top 5, you said, right? I know Morgan Staley's my guy, and that's, by the way, that's Utah's defensive coordinator. But what I want to make sure of is, and the reason is Utah has the best DBs around. Like, I really feel that way. Clark Phillips III, right? And yeah, they got torched by JSN in the Rose Bowl 2 years ago, but it was a backup running back playing corner. They were actually injured all over the place. I just think that top 5 for Kelly would be a hard call. Nah, I'm not going there. Not top 5 for me. Nope. But I like what they're doing. I like the players they're getting. But Morgan Staley's the guy for me. And that's about it in that regard. I don't think he's top 5, though. I did not expect this level of corn analysis. You know, we're all connoisseurs. They tell me all these women are making billions, if not millions of dollars from their OnlyCans page. And then I've never met a single man in this world that admits they pay for OnlyCans. So if none of you guys pay for OnlyCans, where are they getting the money from? Somebody's not telling the truth. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. Oh, Hootie Jones, we learn from the best. There you go, Trent McPherson. Shout out to you, brother. Florida fans are delusional calling Mertz the next Burrow. Yeah, Triglasson, that's not happening. That's not even remotely happening. That ain't true at all. Joe Burrow's not happening for me. So the question is, what situation should a program punish its athletes for, and what situations should they be more lenient about? So Dalton Hines, no. The question is, at what point do we implement punishment? Is it at the arrest? Is it when the charges are charged? Is it when you're brought up on charges, when you're indicted, when you're found innocent? Like when? It's not the claim. It's not the accusation, right? Because if you're accused of RAAP, that's a pretty severe accusation, yet they won't do anything about it until the charges get brought up, until you're found guilty. But the accusation itself can be pretty damning. And if you ignore those accusations, we've got a problem. Then there's things like DUI. DUI in West Virginia, a DUI will end your entire career. Shout out to Bob Huggins. Your career is over if you get a DUI. At Georgia, if you're a player and you get a DUI, you're starting the next week. Shout out to Javon Bullard. Javon Bullard got a DUI. Not only did he play 2 weeks later, but he also was the MVP of the national championship game on defensive side of the ball. They don't care. So you're an adult. They're all adults, but you're a player. You get to play in 2 weeks. If you're a coach, your career is over. Doesn't make sense to me. And the only institutions that this is glaring are like 3 of them. And they're all in the SEC. They just blatantly will not implement disciplinary standards unless verified guilty. Which is crazy to me. Because if you did the conduct, but you take a plea deal, then you get lenient punishment from your team, right? Like, if you ran from the cops and you were selling drugs and you were doing all these different things that Tony Mitchell did, you should be done. You're facing 6 felonies, whatever it is, you're done. But instead, they just went, oh, he's suspended indefinitely, which means what? We'll wait and see. And then it wasn't even suspended a game. Wasn't even suspended. Oh, well, wait, we're going to do some internal punishment. What? The internal punishment is not working. What's the internal punishment for the DUIs and the reckless driving that Georgia has? Because I want to know. Because it's not like all the players are going to practice going, yo, bro, watch out. Coach got internal punishment for driving crazy. Don't do it, okay? I got arrested last night, and coach is going crazy. No. They got 11 guys arrested for reckless driving. Why? Because there is no punishment. There is nobody holding them accountable. It's okay to do it. Hey, you can do it, bro. Hey, no big deal. You get pulled over, they'll sweep that shit under the rug. Don't worry. All we gotta do is a couple sprints. That's the internal punishment. Some suicides after practice. Come on. Well, you gotta go to class and apologize. Write a poem to your mom. Whatever, dude. That's dope. Generic phrase to describe a criminal offense that violates the public peace or order. There you go. Since numerous criminal offenses can be perceived as a violation of the public peace, this phrase is. Okay, thank you very much for the definition, Kim. She was talking about what he pled guilty to. Thoughts on Elijah Rushing? None. I owe you an answer. Michael Stupka, ask me the next time you see me. I got you. I want to be accurate when I give you an answer. UFC 290 predictions. Ronnie White. So you guys know I do the live streams for the UFC. What am I batting? Who's watched the fights with me? What's my batting average? Somebody tell me in chat, how right am I on UFC fights when I call the winner? All the cards combined, how often am I correct about the fights? I need somebody to tell me how many do I get right? Because I don't want to make the claim and then somebody thinks I'm just bragging and lying. But if you've been there for my live streams for UFC and I predict the winner, how right am I? How often do I get the right winner? Can somebody put it in chat? Just let me know. Steve, Kim, anybody else who's been around? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Because I know what I think it is. I know where I think I'm going with this. 69? 70% of the time? I'm going to go back and do some research. I think I'm 90% of the time correct. I think I'm about 9 out of 10. Yeah, that sounds about right. So what I'm saying to you is, Ronnie White, because I'm always right with my UFC predictions, I dare not give them early. I feel like people who ask me for my UFC predictions, and it's not your agenda at all, I feel like people who do that are trying to get advantages to betting. I feel like people are trying to make money off of my input and my insight. Therefore, I pick a winner right before they enter the octagon. If you're watching live streams with me, you can't bet on my input. I will announce it as soon as the round starts. I say, oh, so-and-so's winning. I do not give a prediction before they enter the octagon. I'm very clear about that. Like, I do it all the time. And now, if you watch my live streams of fighting, now you realize that you go, oh, that's true. He never gives a prediction early. I wait till I see them walk in the octagon, and I think about it, and then I give the answer. Now, do I already know who I want to say? Sure. But I wait. Because I don't want anyone betting with my advice or my guidance. Sorry. I'm anti-betting. I'm anti-betting. Just to keep it real. Usually used to describe offense of disorderly conduct. Okay. Next level shade on that joke. Thank you, Steve. I try my best. I know you don't love hypotheticals, but if Jaden Daniels on the 2019 LSU team, do you think they still win the Natty? Do you still think they win the Natty? No, he can't throw like that. All right, before I get into the rest of the questions, I'm going to go back to over here. I want to go back to this one. Let me get Dalton Hines, though. The problem seems even more glaring with Georgia to me because the driver of the vehicle that died in Jalen Carter's situation worked for the team and was supposed to be watching the players. Dalton Hines, I'm 100% on this. I would have never drafted Jalen Carter because of his integrity issues. I have a glaring issue with the entire conduct of supervisors, people in charge, all the players, underage drinking, everything. They're not getting ready for anything. They're not getting ready to fight, or I'm sorry, to play in a season. They're not preparing and lifting weights. They're not focused. It's unprofessional and it's harmful. Thanks for answering my Walton question. He reminds me of Greg Lloyd, undersized pass rusher with hands. Nice, Sean Ruffner. Nice. I don't like Greg Lloyd, but nice. I'm with you. Okay, I'm going to go back to the stories here. Now, ESPN announces. They announced Summer League. The Summer League schedule on Friday, they're going to televise it. And if you don't pay attention, that 9 p.m. Eastern right there, go Spurs. They're going to be playing, and that's your boy. That's your boy. That's your Wimpy Whataburger against the Hornets. Wimpy Whataburger will be playing at 9. Everybody wants to see him. The souped-up Tyson Chandler, the 7-something foot tall guy who's never done anything worth a damn. Now, I don't care. I want to know, is one of the best players from the SEC going to play in the next game, 11 p.m. Eastern? If you guys don't know, Scottie Pippen Jr., out of Vandy, just left the SEC, just graduated early. I told everybody, if you play college basketball and you got an NIL deal, stay in college basketball. You're making more money in college basketball than you ever will trying to pursue an NBA career. They don't take anybody. The NBA doesn't want any of you guys playing college ball. Stay as long as you can in college basketball. Scottie Pippen Jr. did not, he was a non-coach's decision. This man averaged 20 points a game last year. Did not play in the last Summer League game. Guys, I've been to Summer League games. Everybody plays. I went to Summer League in Vegas. Who did I go see? Oh, I went and saw Lonzo Ball and Kuzma. And I remember going to see those games. They're going up against the kid from Purdue. Swinton. Who was the big kid? I forgot his name. Black guy, played center. I forgot his name. But anyways, when I watched the game, I said, yo, this guy Kuzma is better than Ball. That's what I thought when I watched the game. I said, man, this guy Kuzma is nice. He's going to, and Alex Caruso was there. Caruso, yep, 6'4", A&M. That was an amazing Summer League game, team. The Lakers were great. Alex Caruso, Kyle Kuzma, and Lonzo Ball, all on the Lakers. I'm there in Vegas. I was in Vegas for a month watching all the games and just having a good time, living on the Strip, doing what I do, and I remember that. So I want to see Scottie Pippen Jr. get some playing time instead of this wimpy Whataburger dude. But he plays for the Lakers, by the way, the Lake Show. He's on their team, but we'll see what happens. That's late at night. I might not even stay up for that. It's Friday. Saturday's the big day, guys. We're excited for the UFC 290. I can't wait. Let me go back here. We'll get into chat, and then we'll get back to the stories. Just want to say, absolutely love the show, and always try to tune in when I can. Thanks. Thank you, Connor. I see you all the time, brother. I appreciate the support. We need it. Hit the like button. Be here. Watch my videos on YouTube. That's my ticket, bro. If you guys can get on this, the more we can grow, the more we can show, right? Whoa. Pause. I'm with you. You want to say, absolutely love the show. Oh, just want to say, what's going on with Timu ad? Timu ad? I don't know what you're talking about. Timu ad. I don't know what that means. Oh, is there an ad over here somewhere? I don't read the ads. I don't even watch the ads. Caleb Swanigan, yes. Did he die? Did Swanigan pass away? If he did, man, rest in peace. I didn't even realize that. Did Caleb go? I didn't know that, man. He passed away. This is terrible. I didn't know. You just threw that on me, bruh. I watched him. I didn't know he passed away. Out the league in 4 years. Dude, he passed. What do you mean out the league in 4 years? He died. Did he commit suicide? I'm assuming. I apologize. Did he unalive himself? I apologize. I shouldn't ask like that. That Lakers summer league team was nice in 2017. It was a great to watch. Kuzma, best baller, and Caruso, reason Lakers won the bubble chip. I agree completely. It was in the background. Yes, he passed. Damn, I didn't know, guys. What first-year coach do you think will win the most games in their first season? John Chen. I'm going to get to it later tonight. Hang in there. I will bring it up. I have all 25 new head coaches. I'm going to be making videos every single day, releasing one. But for you guys, since you're here at the show for the live stream, you're going to know what the rankings are. I'm going to go more in depth on my individual videos, but I'll show you guys the rankings tonight, or at least I'll talk you through them and who I think will win the most games. I have them in order by who's going to win the most games next season, and I'll get to it. So I got you. Stick around. Great question, though. It's a shame I have to give it away. Did you get rid of everybody from ESPN to add people from YouTube personalities on it? Hey, let me tell you something, man. Blunts and Paper Podcast. A lot of those guys ain't worth their weight. When you find out how much people are making for talking on TV and don't know what they're talking about, it'll blow your mind. Because they got to pay them something insane. Hey, you ain't got to pay me much. You ain't got to pay. Hey, dude, I'm low. I'm low compared to them people. I'll get on TV for $200K. I'm letting you know right now, $200K, I'll get on TV. Yeah, anything lower than that, though, I'll stick to what I'm doing. Real talk. That's crazy, but I know it is. But it's just the way I am. I don't need it. If you made an all-time college football team, what would be your offense? Are you talking about my offensive scheme? What would be my offensive scheme? Whatever's centered around Ricky Williams and Reggie Bush. Okay? Ricky Williams and Reggie Bush. No, think he had a heart condition. Damn. Okay. What do you think of the future Pac-12 is, considering they still don't have media rights and just denied San Diego State entry because of that? So, Dalton Hines, they didn't deny San Diego State entry because of it. They didn't even offer San Diego State because they weren't going to offer anybody until they signed their deal, because their deal gets more expensive the more teams they have. So right now they're selling themselves as a 10-team package, and that's more appealing to certain advertisers. They'll find a deal somewhere. What do you want me to do about it? They'll find a deal somewhere. It's okay. I'm not worried about it. Somebody will be streaming them. They'll be on TV. Let's go, Rico. What up, John Chen? Who's your dark horse team in the Pac-12 next season? Michael Stupka. Since I follow 133 FBS teams, nobody's a dark horse to me. It might be to you guys, but not to me. I would say Oregon State. Oregon State would be considered a dark horse. I think they can win the whole conference. Ex-Florida quarterback. Yep. Go ahead and Aramis. Thank you for the tip, brother. I see that. Aramis, just go ahead and rewind the show. I started off with it. You guys go back and talk about it. Honestly, I feel like ESPN is on a similar trajectory as MTV, just gotten away from what they're decent and known for. Steve, it's 100% correct. It's 100% correct. Trash. Yes, we're here first. Nebraska wide receiver transfer to Liberty, Victor Jones, is out for the year. Is this a blow to the Flames? No, it's not a blow to the Flames, Seth. It's unfortunate, but it's not a blow to the Flames at all. No, that sucks. But they're going to be loaded. They have a good team. They have good players. Don't worry about it. Colorado, 7+ wins. Quite the task. Sorry, I meant who would be the players on your all-time college team? Okay, so quarterback Tim Tebow, running backs Reggie Bush, and Ricky Williams. Wide receivers Randy Moss, Crabtree, Peter Wark. I mean, I could just go, and I'm going to miss some people, but not really. So it happens. Cool beans, thanks. Is this a bold take? No Pac-12 team has double-digit wins next season. John Chen, that's absurd. They just had 5 teams with double-digit wins. The Pac-12 is the best conference, top to bottom. They had the most ranked teams without the manipulation of their schedules, only playing 8 conference games. They all play each other and still had 10 wins. 5 teams. 6 ranked, 5 teams. UCLA wins their bowl game. There's 6 teams with 10 wins. Yeah, it's not a game. But anyways, back to the other stories. Let me go. Oh, let me show you guys this. Just the other day, and I'm going to make a video about this tonight, but just the other day, I was talking about the top 10 wide receivers in the group of 5. And one guy I talked about was Bradley Rosner, and he's number 10 on my list of group of 5 wide receivers. And I said, well, he scored 10 touchdowns last year. This is a 6'5", 205-pound wide receiver, and he's played, let me tell you guys, he's played a lot of football. When I say a lot of football, I mean like he's been around since 2016. He graduated high school 2016. Went to Cisco College, junior college in Texas. He's been like injuries, playing here and there, COVID, all this shit. But in 2019, he hit the scene. 55 receptions, 770 yards, 5 touchdowns. And then last year, he went 10 touchdowns, 876 yards. And a deep threat. 44 receptions, 876 yards. This guy can't be stopped. They just got JT Daniels. So I'm like, hey, JT Daniels and this guy, they're going to pair up and go ham. He entered the transfer portal today. Graduate transfer. What? He's in the transfer portal as a graduate transfer. Guys, you don't think tampering's real? This guy's about to get paid and a Power 5 team's going to sign him. Who's he going to go? Where is he going to go play? I'm hoping he goes to UTSA. I'm hoping he goes from Rice to UTSA and he's Frank Harris's target because he's replacing Franklin, right? I'm hoping it's something innocent like that. But if he's going to a Power 5 school in the SEC for a certain amount of money, bro, this is gross. This is gross. Rice is about to start the season, 2 months away. You got a great quarterback, and you just lose your number 1 receiver. That's crazy. That's not cool. He's been with them all off season, right? All spring. And then you jump in the portal in July, and he can play because he's a graduate transfer. He can play right now if he wants. Wherever he goes, he's going to be able to play. He's got to just learn the playbook. He's super smart. He's been in college for like 8 years. You heard me right. I think 6, no, it's got to be 8 years. 8 years he's been in college? No, 6 years. 6 or 7 years. 6 years. Let's go 6 years. He's been in college 6 years. Insane, bro. There's got to be tampering going on. There's got to be. I'm pulling that over. I plan to make a video about it. Plan to make a video about it tonight. Because I think that's shady as hell. All right, let me go back to chat. See here. Sorry, I meant... Okay, cool beans. Boom, boom, boom. Easier to just take the 2001 Miami team. Not a fan, but good Lord, they were loaded. Yes, 37 draft picks. I believe 37 draft picks overall on that Miami team. 17 first rounders. Somebody fact check me. I'm saying 17 first rounders on that Miami team, 2001, and 37 draft picks. I don't know the numbers. Didn't expect that to show up, but somebody fact check me. How many teams in the Pac-12 can win the conference, do you think? About 6, Connor. About 6. Oregon, Oregon State, USC, UCLA, Utah, right? Washington. Yeah, 6. 6 for sure. Do you think Ivan Pace Jr. or Andre Carter II will make any impact in their rookie year outside of special teams? No. Michael, I don't think so. I don't think NFL teams missed on them like everybody's hoping and claiming. I think that they are very good undrafted free agents that have a chance to make the team, make the special teams, make the practice roster. But as far as making an impact in their rookie year, I don't see it. Undrafted free agents making an impact in their rookie year is not very common. I wouldn't even try to predict it if I'm being real. Like, I wouldn't. So that's how I feel about that. Unfortunately, this is just how college football is now. But not only will these kids make money, they will also get more eyeballs on their games because they're playing for power programs. Yes and no, Dalton Hines. You're playing for a power program, but you're not on the field. You're just a role player, i.e. Jalen Key. Jalen Key goes to Bama. He might be sitting the bench to Caleb Downs at safety. Congrats. You transferred to Bama. Got it. You just left UAB where you got 3 interceptions last year, and you were a ball hawk and 4th on the team in tackles, 60 tackles, and now you're at Alabama. You might get 20 tackles. because you're not going to play as much. There's really no correlation or any type of statistic out there that says you're more likely to get drafted if you leave a group of 5 team and you go to the SEC and sit the bench. There's just no such thing. If you go to the SEC and you become a starter, sure. But if you go from a group of 5 school where you could have gotten all the production in the world, and then you transfer to a Power 5 school and you're in the rotation and you're not on the field as much, there's no saying you're going to get drafted any higher. It's not even a thing. You know, as a matter of fact, Austin Reed is doing this right now, Western Kentucky quarterback. He said, I'm not going to the SEC. Kentucky offered him. Louisville offered him, and they offered him 6 figures in NIL. And he said, no, that's short-term money. I go to those schools, and what if I have an okay year? What if I have an average year, and I end up sucking a game or two, and they pull me out of the starting lineup, and now I had to split time and fight for playing time? I might get drafted in the 6th or 7th round. I'm not doing that. He said, I'll just stay here at Western Kentucky, throw for another 4,000 yards. Nobody's going to take my starting spot, whether I have a good game or bad game. And I'll go in the 3rd round. I'll go in the 4th round max. That's knowing that you're worth long-term money, not chasing short-term NILs. A lot of these kids they're just chasing the short-term money. And it's sad because they're not going to play. I saw Trey Amos. I saw guys transfer late in the spring cycle. You're not the first option. You're not who they want. They got who they wanted in the winter. You're just another guy on the depth chart. You're just added depth. It's nuts. It's nuts. It's gross, actually. What do you think of Bo Nickal' new opponent? So he's undefeated, Corey, but I've never seen him fight. I'm not looking up his fights either. I just know he's undefeated. That's all I know. I don't think he's going to beat Bo Nickal'. That's all I know. I think the bigger issues is when bigger Power 5 programs poach from other Power 5 teams in the same conference. Dalton Hines, they've been doing it for 30 years with coaches. They poach good coaches all over the place. Nobody said shit. Now they poach players. Now everybody's up in arms. But they've been poaching coaches everywhere. And no one said a damn thing. They're still poaching coaches till this day. They're doing it right now. So now that the players get poached, now everybody wants to stop it. Nah. No, the bigger issue for me is intentionally pursuing players that you're never going to play. That's my bigger issue. What if I told you Dylan Lonergan, the number 1 quarterback out of the state of Georgia, signing with Alabama? I don't think he should ever see the field. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. But Alabama signed him anyways because they didn't want Georgia to get him. They didn't want Clemson to get him. So they just went ahead and signed him, knowing damn well he's not as good as some of the other guys. Eli Holstein's better than him. Now, they tell me in spring ball Dylan played better. Dude, I've watched Dylan play for 3 years, not an SEC-level quarterback. Not a good quarterback. Think about it. It's just racking up dudes so nobody else gets them for at least one year or two. You just go over-recruit a position and just burn a year of his eligibility. It'll be perfect. And then send him away in the spring. And then in the spring, send him to the transfer portal and be like, we didn't want you, bro. You got to go. And then tell the news, look at this guy. He jumped in the portal because he's not happy here because he can't get playing time. No, you sent him to the portal because you didn't want him. That's exactly what happened. You sent him to the portal because you didn't want him. Literally, 80% of the guys in the spring were sent to the portal by their coach. They didn't want to be there. But they won't sell that narrative to the news. They won't say that shit to podcasts and on the radio. All I ever got to hear from Feinbaum or any of these other hillbilly dudes, oh, well, all these players, they don't know what it is to earn their starting position. Why can't they just stay on the team and compete for playing time? And blah, blah, blah. Shut up, dude. The coach sent them to the portal. Coach had exit meetings in the spring and said, yo, you are not a part of our plans. You need to bounce. Get the hell out of here. Coach Prime did it to 50-something guys, but he's not the only one. All these other teams did it. Ole Miss got 51 dudes in the portal for the last 2 years. Lane Kiffin is a business. Lane Kiffin just go, hey man, you're not in our 2 deep. You got to go. You didn't pan out. You got to go. He ain't the only one. They're all doing it. And the kid is told, hey, if you try to go public and tell everybody that we kicked you out, well then you're burning bridges. Well then we won't have something good to say about you. Right? It's just like when you're trying to find a new job. You can't say anything negative about the last employer because they're the ones who are going to give the reference. It's garbage, and the players are suffering. Rico, who do you feel had the better college career, Reggie Bush or Percy? Reggie Bush, stop it. Is it close? Me and my boy were discussing that. No, I don't even like when people put Percy Harvin in the same conversation as Reggie Bush. Percy Harvin was a gadget player on some great teams. I get it, and he was explosive and fast. And anybody who ever saw him play will tell you he was great. Anybody who knew him in real life, oh man, he was that guy. He's so great. Blah, blah. I don't care. You're talking about a guy who was good on his team versus a guy who is arguably the greatest player to ever play college football. It's just echelons. There's levels to this shit. I don't compare anybody to Reggie Bush. Anybody. Not a soul. Don't even bother. Damn, how are people able to stay in college for 8 years unless they're going to med school? Chris, it's pretty simple, man. You get medical red shirts, you get real red shirts, you have a COVID year, you skipped a year, some nonsense. Does Miami have a shot of beating A&M this year? Yeah, they're on the same field. Yeah, I could see it. What do you think about Jared Stringer going undrafted? Gerard Stringer, I'm not worried about people going undrafted. I think a lot of good players went undrafted. Okay? It's just a part of the NFL, a part of sports. There's so many guys in basketball that went undrafted. It's insane. So I don't get too excited. I don't worry about it. Lewis Henton, what up, bro? Roll Tide rolled. Shout out to you. Miami has no shot at being A&M with their stacked roster unless Fisher lays an egg. Not true, Chris E. Miami has a great secondary. Miami has some explosive players. I like Miami. I don't think they're going to beat them, but they have a chance. Are you kidding me? UMass was taking it to A&M last year, and A&M was stacked. And UMass showed up to town and hit them in the mouth. Have you been watching Tough? So Aramis, I watch it, but not like every single episode when it drops. I wait and like to watch them in succession. Bro, my hoodie is stuck in the lockbox because the damn key broke off when I tried to open it. I've been waiting since Saturday for them to fix it. Damn, Prod Self. If you guys didn't know, Prod Self bought a hoodie. Some people are buying the merch. Ricoknows.org. If you want to rock some nice shit, go ahead and buy it. We got you. We got hoodies and t-shirts, mugs, plates, cups, whatever. I don't know. Check it out. Ricoknows.org. Thoughts on Lenora Sellers? UNC fans have been using South Carolina's lack of depth at quarterback as a recruiting pitch. So, there's no depth at quarterback. That's not a thing. Having depth at quarterback is not a thing in college football. I just want to be very clear. Lenora Sellers, the best high school quarterback coming out of South Carolina last year, does a last-second flip from Syracuse to South Carolina. Congrats. You got your guy. And what's weird is Braden Davis then hits the transfer portal and goes up to Syracuse. So they swap quarterbacks. But no one cares about depth at quarterback. Not a thing. You just play your starting quarterback, and whoever's on the bench is on the bench. They have no bearing on your team whatsoever. That's just a fact. 90% of teams are all going to go the path of their starting quarterback. There's no such thing as, well, we got our backup in, man. We're going to be great. Nah, it's not a real thing. So don't worry about it. Some bet Billy gone before the 2024 season, Rico. No, I think that's wrong. I think that, and he's talking about Billy Napier at Florida. I think you got to give him a chance to get rid of all the old recruits and get his guys in at least 2 more years, but it doesn't look good. Why wouldn't a school like Auburn offer Deion Sanders if they know he'll get them great recruits? Deion Sanders is not a proven FBS level coach. I don't think Auburn's interested in anybody like that. Hugh Freeze is an actual bona fide stud of a head coach, dominated in the SEC when he was at Ole Miss, dominating at Liberty for the last couple of years. Hugh Freeze is a monumentally better hire than Coach Prime at this moment in time. Another thing, if you think Hugh Freeze doesn't get good players, you got another thing coming. He's amazing at recruiting. He's gotten a ton of good players. They've gotten a great transfer portal class, I think comparable to that of Colorado's. You'd be very surprised. You have no business comparing Coach Prime to Hugh Freeze. One guy's actually done what Coach Prime's trying to do what Hugh Freeze has already done. That's the reality. I love Coach Prime. I love everything he's doing at Colorado. To think he's a better hire than Hugh Freeze is absurd. Hugh Freeze is actually a bona fide great coach. Straight up. He knows what he's doing. Rico, have you done schedule predictions? What do you think South Carolina does? So I've tried to stay away from schedule predictions for the most part. I do one-offs when people ask me questions. I think I have South Carolina going 6-6. It just looks like a tough schedule. It looks like a tough season. What quarterback transferring into the Big Ten will have the biggest impact on their team next season? Austin Blitz in the Big Ten, quarterbacks transferring into the Big Ten. Luke Altmaier is going to have a big deal. So is Hudson Card. Those are 2 guys that come to mind right away. That's how I feel. What if Bama, UGA, Tennessee, LSU all go 10-2? Does the SEC team make the playoffs? Doesn't it? And that'll depend on the polls, and it'll also depend on the other conferences. You need to know what the other conferences are doing. What are you comparing them to? All those guys go 10-2. That doesn't mean anything to me. If everybody else goes undefeated, if I got a Big 12 team undefeated, an ACC team undefeated, a Big 10 undefeated, and a Pac-12 undefeated, no, they don't get in. Undefeated teams will not be passed over for 10-2 teams. Don't care who they are. They're playing 9 conference games. They're playing 8 conference games. It's not going to happen. I'll get back to you guys. I want to get back to the stories here, and we'll talk about it. So they made it official. Big 12 made it official. Commissioner came out and said, we want to stay at 14 teams. We're going to add 2 teams after Oklahoma and Texas leave. So nowhere in here do they say who the 2 teams are, but everybody's under the impression the 2 teams are going to be Colorado and Utah. That sounds about right. Colorado and Utah. You guys let me know. Colorado and Arizona. Something to that effect. But Colorado should be one of them. We'll see. Big 12 is looking to add 2 more teams once Oklahoma and Texas leave in 2024. You guys let me know who they should be adding. But they said they're going to go official and add them. All right? Talking about this weekend before I get into the rest. Oh, look at this. Speaking of Big 12. BYU painted their field. And after they painted the field, they accidentally put the Big 12 logo on the wrong spots of the field. They're not at the same spots. They gaffed it. One's at the 10 and the 15, or one's at the 15 and one's at the 25. I don't care. Everybody's talking smack about how they painted their field. Who cares? Shout out to whoever paints the turf. Fire them accordingly. Joe Rogan's going to be back for 290. I don't care to listen to Joe Rogan. I do all my talking. I watch live streams. I watch the fights. I televise them. I don't even put them there for you guys to see, but I do what I do, and I think Joe Rogan, don't want to hear him talk. Don't want to hear anybody talk. I talk it. I do what I do. What time does 290 start? I'll get back to the chat here in a sec, but what time does 290 start? 290 actually starts, the main card will be at 10 Eastern like normal on Saturday, but the early prelims are going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern. So it's going to be a long night, 6 p.m. Eastern, and with the main card starting at 10, we're looking at 1 or 2 in the morning. So I'm going to do a 5 to 6 hour marathon on Saturday. Bring your Mountain Dew and Dr. Pepper. We're going to be up all night talking fights, hanging out, and having a good time. If you guys watch me talk sports every day, you guys know the deal. I get in there and I predict all the fights, but I also talk about what I'm seeing. Super excited about 290, and we'll see what happens. All right, before I get into this transfer portal update, I want to talk about A&M real quick. So A&M, they say he got another 5-star recruit. And they got this wide receiver. And some people were asking me, why did Cameron Coleman, 5-star wide receiver, go to A&M? Why did he not go to Alabama? Well, number one, I don't have him offered by Alabama. He was offered by Auburn. He's from Phoenix City, Alabama. This is a 5-star wide receiver, and he decided to go to A&M. The reason he went to A&M is A&M has a great recruiter. If you guys look in here, in this chat right here, it says it. Coleman also built a close relationship with wide receivers coach Damon Craig here, dating back to when he first got his offer and his only offer. Damon Craig. Do you guys know who Damian Craig is? Damian Craig is not the wide receivers coach this year. He's the quarterbacks coach this year. He was the wide receivers coach. But Damian Craig used to play quarterback at Auburn in the 90s. And he was the first 3,000-yard passer at Auburn. He's a stud. He's a dual-threat quarterback at Auburn back in the 90s. I loved everything about Damon Craig. He won 2 bowl games. He was the MVP of both those bowl games. I remember one of them, they beat a terrible team. I forgot who it was. It was like a scrub team. And then the next time, they were in like the Peach Bowl or something like that. But that first bowl was terrible. Might have been like Air Force or something. But I remember watching these games, and this guy, Damian Craig, was great. This is like 93, 94, 95 time frame, somewhere around there. But I really think that A&M has great recruiting, and that's why they're getting these kids. You want to know why a 5-star wide receiver goes to that school? Because you're talking to a guy. Oh, by the way, he's from Mobile, Alabama. Damian Craig's actually from Alabama. So now you get on the, hey, man, I know where you're from. I'm from there, too. I used to play against Phoenix all the time. You just have these points of reference. Hey, I'm one of those guys just like you. I played in the SEC. You want to play in the SEC? I got you. Right? It's just a nice thing, and it's hard to duplicate. It's hard to duplicate when it's fake. So A&M has the right guys recruiting. And, oh, by the way, Damian Craig, you want to know who he recruited? not too long ago when he was at Florida State? Jameis Winston. He's the reason Jameis Winston went to Florida State. That's real. Okay? I see somebody says not being offered by Bama is a red flag. Not at all, Trent. Not at all. Nah. Alabama and Georgia, they pick and choose who they want to offer. I think a lot of it has to do with Alabama's not offering that many wide receivers this season. They have a ton of wide receivers on the roster. Remember, they had 23 wide receivers on the roster last year. 23. 6 of them hit the portal. Alabama had, 5 of them hit the portal. 23, they're left with 18, and they signed 3 more. They just have so many wide receivers. They have a ton of wide receivers. They don't need to offer all that many. And they all suck. No, they don't all suck. The wide receiver, Isaiah Bond's good, but he just can't get open. I don't know what his deal is. They got Malik Benson in the JUCO ranks. They got some players. Come on now. They got some wide receivers. It's just you want to throw to Jahmyr Gibbs and all that other stuff. All right, let me get back to the chat, and then I'll talk about the transfer portal update. And you know what? Let me get to the transfer portal update, and then we'll hit chat, and we'll be done. So, transfer portal update. All that's really happened, these 3 guys got in the portal. So let's talk about it. Nick Lopez. Nick Lopez is leaving Cal, going to Louisville. If you don't remember, Cal's starting quarterback also went to Louisville, right? Jack Plummer. So he transferred to Louisville. Now they get a kicker. Now, Louisville needed a kicker. Their kicker bounced on them after spring football. He left after spring. I don't know where he went. I got to go double check. But they were left without a kicker. They got one scholarship kicker. I forget his name. And now they got Nick Lopez. Here's the thing. Nick Lopez has been at Cal for 4 years. He's only played in 2 games. 4 years, only played in 2 games. Now, he's got 2 years of eligibility left. And all he's done is maybe 2 30-yard field goals. And he had some kickoffs. 2 or 3 kickoffs that went through the end zone. He can do touchbacks. He's got a big leg for touchbacks. But I don't know about him being a field goal kicker. So it doesn't look like a great get, but they needed a kicker anyways. They need competition at the position. I think Colorado needed him, if you ask me. A.J. McCarty, shout out to him. Look, guys, this is a shady one for me. A.J. McCarty, he's a Texas kid, so he's staying in Texas. But A.J. McCarty played a lot last year for Baylor. Like 30 tackles. He was in the secondary. And Baylor didn't get a ton of secondary guys in the transfer portal. So I don't know why A.J. McCarty got kicked out of Baylor. But look, Baylor, they didn't kick him out. They just pulled his scholarship. They pulled his financial aid to get within the 85 scholarship limit. They were right on the board. They had 86. He was their 86 guy. They just said, hey, sorry, bro, you don't have a scholarship. And they cut it. Now, Texas Tech gave him an offer, and he can see the field at Texas Tech. Trust me. You can see the field anywhere. A.J. McCarty can play. But for a team to pull him, either he had to have some type of animosity, he might have been abrasive with the coaching staff. I don't know what. But there's just it doesn't make sense to me. They pulled his scholarship in June, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. And now he goes to Texas Tech. Now, here's the thing. He's not a graduate transfer. He's got to do a waiver. But I think he gets a hardship waiver because it's not his fault the school pulled his scholarship late in the season. They were hoping somebody would quit, somebody would be academically ineligible, somebody would get an injury. Like, they were hoping for anything, and then at the last second, they finally cut him. I thought it was grimy. I thought it was dirty. You don't do that to a player. Not in June. Not after he's been with you and shown no desire to leave, and then in June you go, hey, you're cut. That's a terrible move. Unless he did something wrong that's unbeknownst to me. I've seen no reports on it. I just saw McCarty hit, and I went and did some looking around. I go, oh, no. They cut him for whatever reason. And then, obviously, Bradley Rosner, I talked about him. 6'5", 205, a stud of a wide receiver. If you see him sign with a team in 2 days, I'm telling you right now, tampering is real. I'm telling you, tampering's real. I hope he goes to UTSA, but he could end up anywhere. He's a mismatch nightmare. He's a good wide receiver. 10 touchdowns last year. He's the goods. He's not potentially good. He's good. 44 receptions, over 800 yards, and he's been good for many years. This is a good wide receiver. If he wants to improve his draft pedigree or something, where's he go? Louisville? Go to a passing team somewhere. But you just left JT Daniels, a very good quarterback, like a good quarterback at Rice. Where are you going? Frank Harris, UTSA. Only thing that makes sense to me. I can't think of anywhere else he'd want to go. I don't know. Anyways, so that's all I have for the updates. I'll take your guys' questions and then we'll rock out. Let's see if I can answer them. Let's go. All right. Oh, I was supposed to talk to you guys about my coaches. Maybe tomorrow night. I can go. We've only been here an hour. I can do the coaches. You guys want to do the coaches? You guys want to see my top 25 for coaches? I'm not going to show it to you. I'll talk you through it, though. What team do you see winning the Big Ten West? Is LSU in the Big Ten West? I got LSU. Do you think Iowa will have a better season this coming year than last year? No, not necessarily than last year, Carolina rundown. I think it'll be very similar. I think Iowa is fighting for the fourth, fifth best team in the Big Ten. So shout out to them. That's where they're at. What you think Georgia State's record's going to be? Prince Begler, I'll get around to doing record predictions for certain teams. I think Georgia State's going to struggle, but it's just because of how strong the Sun Belt is, but, not bad. Spencer going to put SC in the playoffs, mark my words. Prod Self, did he get an NIL deal where he got tickets for everybody? Let me know. Chris E with the $20. Hey, Chris E, thank you for the tip, brother. That pays for everything, brother. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Shout out to you. This is why I do my live streams on YouTube, because I can't get that on TikTok. They can't tip me like that. I appreciate you, Chris. Still can't believe the Pac-12 coach said Prime was a lose-lose. He's already brought so much value to that program. W. Chris, thank you. Yeah, Trent, I don't agree at all with that statement. That's why I made my video. I think it's a win-win for everybody. Lenore's got a better shot of the playoffs than Spencer. Yeah, according to 24/7, he runs a 4. I don't ever read 24/7, but I hear you. Bro is also the most level high school quarterback to come out of 40 passing touchdowns. Yeah, Carolina, we like him. He's a good player. 10-plus rushing touchdowns. Yep. Does Arizona have a sweetheart deal with ASU where they have to move together? Some states do that. So some states do that. Some rivals do that. I don't know of any such deal. And I don't understand why Arizona is appealing more than Arizona State. Arizona State has a better TV market in Phoenix, but Arizona does have a better basketball pedigree, and that could really help sell it if you start looking at it like that. Arizona State has a better track team, though. It's just really weird. I'm trying to see Rico versus Joe Rogan. I'll take that fight. I'll take that fight in a heartbeat. Yep, I really would. That replacement Nickel is fighting has pretty impressive fights. Still going to get work. Yeah, it happens, Trent. What is the appeal of adding Colorado as a program other than the fact that they have Dion as head coach? Colorado really hasn't been relevant. Yeah, trajectory is important. Denver TV market's important. There's appeal there. There's rivalry possibilities. And having been a member of the conference in the past, there's a lot of nostalgia and history there. It sells tickets. It really does. So that's the appeal, if you ask me. We have a blast watching the fights here. Thank you very much, Prod Self. I have a blast too. Even though sometimes there's only 20 of us, sometimes there's only 10 of us, and then the 10 or 12 from TikTok, I don't care about the numbers. We have a blast. We'll take it. Eric Anders was good linebacker at Bama. I don't think he was a good linebacker at Bama. I thought he was just okay. He played sparingly. I didn't see anything great about him. Weird question. Do you if you had to choose one UFC fighter to play linebacker for your team, who would you pick? Eric Anders. Bo Nichols. Thoughts on Justin Flo going from Oregon to Arizona? I hope he does well. I hope he figures it out. I hope he finally gets on the field and dominates the way people anticipated. But I think it's a good move going to Arizona because they need linebackers. So I want to see him do well. It's not being offered by Bama, red flag. Nope. And they all stunk. Yeah. I'm telling you, Rico, you got to move Lenore Sellers up the list of guys to evaluate, and only 2 interceptions. Yeah, I know everything about him. Legitimately, I know everything about Lenore Sellers. I just told you he's the top quarterback in the state of South Carolina. I live in Augusta, Georgia, right on the border of South Carolina. I'm very familiar with South Carolina's high school football scene. I know all the players. I don't get excited about players that aren't going to play. So Lenore Sellers is not going to see the field next year, so why would I talk about him? It's wasted energy. I don't talk about recruits, Carolina Rundown. You can talk about recruits. I don't get excited about recruits. I get excited about recruiters. I get excited about coaches. But the people that aren't going to see the field don't really matter to me. I'll talk about him when he transfers or plays, one of the two. Whose recruiting class do you like right now? Corey Williams? I had no idea you wrote that. I don't care. I like Stanford's recruiting class right now, but it really doesn't matter. Players can sign, they can verbally commit, and they can change their mind after they sign. That's the new rule. The new rule going into next year, they can hit the transfer portal within 6 months of entering the school. So if they enroll early in January and they decide this is not where they want to be, they can leave with no repercussions. So all those players you sign don't matter. If they're not happy after spring ball, they're gone. That's the reality of the situation, and they can play that year at their new school. Phil Steele tweeted, Louisville will be favored in all 12 games. Just no way that's true. That's not true, Trent, and don't worry about Phil Steele. I don't even pay attention to them. Their preseason lists are crap. Their All-American lists are crap. I don't even look at it. Don't even look at it. What does Tyler Van Dyke have to do in order to take the next step to become a great quarterback? Aramis, the question, I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think it's all hype. Everybody talks about every quarterback from the upper northeast Massachusetts area and tells me how great they're going to be, and it's just hype. He has the right metrics. He looks the right part, but he doesn't throw right. He doesn't do anything special, not to me. So what does he need to do? Win games and look like a leader on the field? And I haven't seen it. If he does it this year, congrats. I haven't seen it. Got to think UTSA and Tulane are the best group of 5 options for the Big 12. I don't think Tulane is, but UTSA and North Texas are. Trust me. Those are great. And if you can steal the SMU from the Pac-12, that's a big deal. Colorado and Utah become options. I don't think the Pac-12 is dissolving. They already said they're more than happy staying at the Pac-10. They're not dissolving. If they lose Washington and Oregon, they're dissolving. These other teams don't matter. Washington and Oregon do. Everyone hit that like button. Thank you, Trent. I appreciate you, brother. If a Power 5 school offers you a job, you taking it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. John Chen, in a heartbeat. A group of 5. Doesn't even need to be a Power 5. Group of 5 school can offer me a job as an offense or defensive analyst. I'm taking it. That's a fact. Just so you know. Do you believe Arch Manning will have a successful college career? Darian Adams, I believe he will. I don't know if it's going to be at Texas, but it doesn't matter where it is. I believe he will. Yes, top 25 is cool. Okay, I got you. Surprise teams that you think will be good this year. Perez, I've talked about this at length. Watch my content. Go watch my videos. I've talked about it like crazy. Phil Parker is such a damn good defense coordinator. Yes. LSU to win the Big Ten. Did I say LSU to win the Big Ten? Is that what I said? I don't know if I said that. Oh, did somebody say the Big Ten West? And I said LSU? The Big Ten West? My bad. I greatly appreciate everything you do. Your voice I always wanted to hear in sports. Stay awesome and true in everything you do. Aramis, thank you very much, man. That fight always means a lot to me. It really does. I appreciate anytime you guys tip me, I'm humbled, man, because this is the goal, to do this for a living. So every dollar goes towards that. I really appreciate you guys. And I know everybody works hard for their money, so I don't ever ask for it. But it's the only way I can do it, right? I need it. So thank you. I appreciate you, Aramis. Nah, he was really good. Starter on a dominant championship team. Who are we talking about? I don't know. Rico, are you familiar with Pete Lembo? Thoughts on him as a coach and recruiter? I don't know Pete Lembo. I'm going to have to look it up. Or the name isn't coming to me right now. If I look him up, though, or I look at his picture, it might spark a memory. That's how I work. If I see a picture, I go, oh, yeah, that guy. UTSA is not an option for the Big 12. There you go. What do you think about Raymond Collins, number 2 JUCO transfer to Ole Miss? So he's not the number 2 JUCO player, number 1. That's just, don't ever believe JUCO rankings or any of that crap. They don't even know how to evaluate JUCO players. Most JUCO players don't pan out. Literally. 50, 60, 70, 80% don't even pan out. Number 1 defensive lineman JUCO player last year. Didn't even play at Auburn. And he's now at Purdue. Right? It just doesn't work out. It happens. So Raymond Collins, hopefully he shows up and plays well, but most of them don't work out. I don't like ranking junior college players for the most part. 0 chance UTSA or North Texas are even remotely on the Big 12 radar. No disrespect, but 2 largely commuter schools that don't bring a ton to the table. Yeah, we're just saying proximity and owning the state. That's where we're at. You can call Tulsa. You can call Tulsa if you want. Yes. Are touchdown clubs like Valdosta a pretty common thing and mostly a southeast type of entity? David Pithen, yeah, they're pretty common, but they're called different things. Right? There's groups of boosters for a lot of private schools and public schools. There's people who want to see them succeed. There's touchdown clubs. There's clubs in charge of the snack bar. There's clubs taking every high school has somebody in charge of the money. That's just how that goes. It's just the way it goes. Let me go over here, guys. Now, I'm not going to show you the list of my college football coaches, but I'll talk you through it. All the new hires. Let me see new coaching hires. So the first guy I'll talk about is Alex Golish. He's number 25 for me. So Alex Golish, number 25. I don't want to pull this. I'm sorry. Give me a second here, guys. I don't want you guys to have to look at this because I have a lot of notes and things. I'm going to be making videos about this stuff, and I don't want to ruin my own content, right? But I'll talk to you guys about it. So South Florida hires the head coach, Alex Golish. I have them going 1-11. Straight up. Offensive coordinator from Tennessee, finally gets his crack at being a head coach. He used to be the offensive coordinator at UCF with Josh Heupel. He's been there for 3 years under Josh Heupel. So he knows how to recruit in the area. Remember, South Florida is actually in Tampa. It's not that far south. And he knows that whole area. So, cool to him. Problem, lost everybody. Lost Brian Battie, 1,100-yard rusher. Lost his 2 leading receivers to Colorado. Lost 2 of his quarterbacks that were actually pretty good. They both transferred to UCF, which is insane because they were both backing up Jerry Bohannon. You're a backup. You transfer to go get starting time. The other guy who's a backup transfers to go get started, and they both transfer to the same school. Dumbest shit I ever seen, bro. I'm just keeping it real. So Alex Golish got his work cut out being a head coach. All big high schools has some version of a touchdown club. If you're an NFL head coach, would you rather Kenny Pickett or Matt Corral for your quarterback for the future? I like Matt Corral a lot. Just so you know. But I'm tanking and drafting somebody else. The next coach I want to talk about is Troy Taylor at Stanford. I have them going 3-9 next year. 3-9, Troy Taylor at Stanford. Here's why. They're just going to be in a difficult spot. He's recruiting great. He got Elijah Brown, quarterback from Mater Dei. He's doing everything he can to be great. Now, Troy knows what he's doing. Troy has been a head coach for only 3 years, though. But they were undefeated in the regular season last year at Sacramento State, FCS level coach. If I told you an FCS level coach was joining the Pac-12 next year, you would think Coach Prime. But an FCS level coach joining the Pac-12 is not Coach Prime. It's Troy Taylor. The problem is Stanford, you cannot use the transfer portal like you can at other schools. Stanford it's not even possible. They don't got it, bro. They're out here doing some other stuff. Give me a second here. I'm gonna try something. Is this the right color? Yeah, what did I do? I don't know. I thought I was trying something. It didn't work. Let me try this one. That didn't work either. Who knows? I thought one of these remotes does all the fancy stuff. There it is. I'm trying this. There we go. How's red work? Now I'm not so drowned out. So Stanford, I have them going 3-9 because they can't use the transfer portal like other teams can. So they just can't fill all their needs. They got to go get Ivy League guys. It sucks. So that's on them. Next is Barry Odom at UNLV. Great coach. Was the Missouri head coach in the SEC. I have him. Where'd I have him at? I have him 3-9. Went 25-25 in 4 years at Missouri. Was the Arkansas defensive coordinator for the last 3 years. And something I want to talk about here is second highest paid coach in the Mountain West, and he really knows how to recruit the Midwest. He got a running back from the Midwest that nobody's talking about. I've made 2 videos on him, and I don't want to give him away right now, but I'm going to tell you, I think UNLV will be much improved, but 3-9 next year, the schedule just looks rough as I looked at it. The next guy I want to talk about is Biff Poggi at Charlotte. He's doing something. Biff Poggi is a hedge fund manager. He used to manage a hedge fund, got really rich, and then started St. Francis Academy football. He won 13 state titles at St. Francis. That's what Biff Poggi did. And then he goes to Michigan and he becomes Jim Harbaugh's right-hand man. And you get a head coaching job off that? Whew. And Charlotte just needs to do something creative. So they went and hired Biff Poggi. It's out-the-box thinking. I'm with it. But I think they go 3-9 next year. Even though he got, I don't even know how many transfers he got from St. Francis. Every kid in the country, if you're in the transfer portal and you went to St. Francis, you got an offer from Charlotte, you're there. Same thing with DeMatha Catholic. All the DMV schools, they're all going to Charlotte. So Charlotte, moving to the American, now has a rivalry with East Carolina. They're in the same state. East Carolina, Charlotte. Let's see it, but I think Charlotte's going to struggle. 3-9. I think they're on their way up. It looks good. It looks good. So I'm not mad about it. GJ Kinney's the next guy I got at Texas State. I think they go 3-9. GJ Kinney's only 34 years old. Young coach. He's never at one place too long. He just keeps winning and moving, winning and moving, winning and moving. I think if he wins at Texas State for the Bobcats, I think he moves again. I don't think he sticks around that long. He just keeps moving. He's moving up the chain, moving up the charts. He looks like a great coach, a young genius, and he's revitalizing Texas State. Did great in the transfer portal, but I still think they only win 3 games next year after looking at their schedule. Kenny Dillingham, another guy. This time, Kenny Dillingham's only 32. He's returning back home. He played high school ball and coached in Phoenix. He's a young guy from Phoenix. Couldn't play ball anymore, so he started coaching. But this guy was the offensive coordinator at Florida State, at Auburn, at Oregon, right? He went with Bo Nix from Auburn to Oregon. He's the reason Bo Nix improved so much. Kenny Dillingham, 32 years old, has already been an offensive coordinator at 4 different schools. Like, that's nuts. So what I thought was unique is Arizona State. They've already gotten like 30 transfer portal players, by the way. Arizona State used to have Herm Edwards and Dennis Erickson, like 2 of the oldest coaches around, and now they're flipping the script and going for the youngest. So they went polar opposites. These old NFL dudes, some other shit going on, and now they just went, boom, give me a 32-year-old and give him the reins and see what he can do. I think he's good, and I think they have a decent team, but I see them going 3-9 next year in the Pac-12. Somebody needs to lose games. It's going to be them. And if not, it's going to be Colorado. That's crazy. This is the one that's going to blow people away. Is I think Scott Satterfield falls flat on his face and gets fired from Cincy like within 2 years. I just do. I think Cincinnati only wins 3 games next year. They have the easiest schedule in the Big 12. I still think they only win 3 games next year. They lost a ton of their staples and a ton of their good players. They just lost the winningest coach in program history. I think they go 3-9. I really do. This is Scott Satterfield went 25-24 at Louisville. It's not like he's a great coach. He broke even, and he was the coach of the year in the ACC his first season. So he's just been kind of going this way. It's not great, but I don't know how you do it. I don't know how they bounce back since he does. They lost a lot of good players to Wisconsin because Luke Fickell just took, he took his Louis. He took his luggage, and it was Louis. Kenny Burns, new head coach at Kent State, I thought it was a panic hire. So Kenny Burns is a running back coach from Minnesota, and he's a good running backs coach. He was at Western Michigan running backs coach. Now he's at Minnesota running back. He was following PJ Fleck everywhere. But he's a positions coach. He's not an offensive coordinator, not a defense coordinator. He's not even, he's just a positions coach. And he's a head coach now. He is an African-American, so it's rare to get an African-American head coach that wasn't a coordinator. Shout out to Coach Prime and now Kenny Burns, but I just don't see it. I know he's a MAC guy. I know he knows how to recruit in the MAC, having coached at Western Michigan, but my God, I just don't understand it. I think Kent State did not anticipate losing Sean Lewis. They didn't know Sean Lewis was going to leave. They weren't going to fire him. He was doing a good job. Sean Lewis resigned to go be the offensive coordinator at Colorado. They did not see this coming at all. So when it came time to hire somebody before the recruiting class went final, they're like, man, we need a MAC guy. We need somebody who understands this footprint and knows what it is to be like this. So they went and got Kenny Burns. I don't get it. Not a good hire. I think they go 4-8. I think they go 4-8, Kent State. They're not going to be a great team. Brian Newberry at Navy. I think they're going 4-8. Brian Newberry was the defensive coordinator at Navy, and now they made him the head coach. They fired Ken Niamalato Lolo, whatever his name is. Ken Lolo, been there 15 years, running the triple option. Good coach. Now he's on the staff at UCLA, just working on leadership or something like that. But is Navy going to change their offensive scheme? I don't know. They haven't announced it. If they're going to change from the triple option to a pro-style offense, that's news to me. They don't have the personnel for that. I just think Navy's going to struggle. I got them going 4-8. They have a good defensive coordinator. They have a good defense. He's actually a good coach, Brian Newberry. But I think their offense struggles. I don't know how they transition away from triple option. And how do you get out of a 15-year head coach who's actually a really good coach? I don't know. Another guy, Trent Dilfer, UAB. I got him going 4-8. So here's my problem. Trent Dilfer just won back-to-back high school state championships in Tennessee. Cool. They're like 2A state championships. Cool. But now he's going to go be the head coach at UAB. I think UAB had a decent season last year. They won their bowl game. They went 7-6. I got them going 4-8 under Trent Dilfer. And he's a great coach. He knows X's and O's. But he can't play for these kids. They have a stud running back. Jerome Brown Jr., Jermaine Brown Jr. Jermaine Brown Jr., stud running back. Rushed for over 900 yards last year as a backup. Because Dwayne McBride rushed for 1,800 yards. The backup was 900 yards. And looks better on tape. And he's a better receiving option. And he doesn't fumble. I'm telling you. I'm excited for UAB's run game, but I still think they only win 4 games. Trent Dilfer 4 games. It's gonna suck. Lance Taylor at Western Michigan. It's my next guy. Lance Taylor, think they're going 4-8 as well. Western Michigan lost all their best players to the transfer portal. Minnesota took all of them. Leading rusher, leading tackler, leading receiver, all gone. But Lance Taylor likes to run the rock. He's a running backs coach. Christian McCaffrey's running backs coach. Bryce Love's running back coach. Kyron Williams, Notre Dame, running back coach. Lance Taylor coached all those running backs, and he's got himself a decent running back in Keyshawn King. This was the leading rusher at Virginia Tech. He just transferred from Virginia Tech to Western Michigan. He'll be the starting running back. We'll see. But this is a guy who he came up underneath Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney. Like, he was coaching underneath those guys at Alabama. And I just think he's been everywhere that matters. He's got NFL experience. He's a good coach, Lance Taylor. But Western Michigan, he needs to recruit like crazy and not lose players to Ferris State. Not lose players, right? Kalamazoo and all that. Not lose players to in Grand Rapids. Not lose players to Grand Valley State. He's just got to do better and not lose players around the state of Michigan. If he can hold it all together, they'll be better. But I don't see it next year. I think it's going to be tough. Eric Morris at North Texas, new head coach there. I think he goes 4-8. He went 10-3 back in 2021 when he was the head coach at Incarnate Word, UIW. Here's the thing about Eric Morris. He's an offensive genius. He's a quarterback guru, okay? I just don't think he has the quarterback at North Texas this upcoming year. He just lost Austin Ani, the 29-year-old. He just went pro. But Eric Morris was the offensive coordinator at Washington State last year. Eric Morris was the offensive coordinator at Washington State last year, and he was there with Cam Ward, right? They're UIW guys. They came up together, and he did amazing. They win 7 games. But North Texas saw that and went, whoa, we just let this guy slip through our fingers. So they fired Seth Luttrell, their old head coach. Even though they were in the conference championship game, they still fired him. And they said, all right, Eric Morris, it's yours. I think Eric Morris is good. He came up, he was a wide receiver. When he played ball, Eric Morris played wide receiver under Mike Leach. Yeah, at Texas Tech. He knows stuff. He's an air raid offense kind of guy. I'm excited for where North Texas is going to be, but North Texas lost Varkey's Gums, the best prospect they've had in years. They lost Cam Robinson on the defensive line, a true freshman who actually got to see the field. They lost Larry Nixon III, linebacker to Auburn. This is an all-conference linebacker. They lost their best players to the transfer portal, and you're left with scraps. Now it is Texas. You're going to find replacements. But when you develop complete studs at North Texas and you lose them in the transfer portal to the SEC, to Arkansas and Auburn, like, that just sucks. That's a damn shame. So we'll see what happens. North Texas starting quarterback is coming from ULM, I believe. I forget his name. Rogers, the quarterback, he's a dual threat guy. Coming over from ULM. He was the starting quarterback at ULM. Charles Rogers? Chandler Rogers? Chandler Rogers, I think. Might be drawing in a blank there. But anyways, next quarterback, or next coach for me, moving up the chart here, Zach Arnett from Mississippi State. I have him going 4-8. Taking over from Mike Leach. He was the defensive coordinator, taking over from Mike Leach. They're going to change the offense up a little bit. They got Will Rogers, but I watch Will Rogers tape. And I'm telling you, he's done 0 progression reads. He snaps the ball and throws it immediately. Air raid. He throws it where it needs to go because he did a pre-snap read. I've never seen him go here and then go here and throw it. Never. I watched all his tape. Go watch the tape. So I think there's limitations to what he can do in a pro-style offense and a play-action offense and whatever they're going to run. They didn't have a tight end on the roster. They completed passes to 14 different wide receivers last year. 14 different wide receivers at Mississippi State. It's nuts how many times they throw the ball and then who they throw it to. They just spread it to everybody, right? Georgia Southern threw the ball just as much. Western Kentucky threw the ball just as much. But they didn't spread it to 14 different wide receivers. Mississippi State's weird. So I just think they're going to struggle. Their schedule's brutal. I think they go 4-8. Remember, you're Zach Arnett. You're a new head coach. And you're going up against Brian Kelly, Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, Hugh Freeze. Like, it's not a joke who you're going up against coaching-wise. Problems there. Now, Kevin Wilson at Tulsa is my next coach. I think Tulsa goes 5-7. But Kevin Wilson can really make a difference. So he's the offense coordinator at Ohio State. He's going to come to Tulsa. Number one, he already has a background in Oklahoma. He was there for Jason White. He was there for one more. Who's the guy? Who was the guy that got drafted early out of Oklahoma? First overall, was broke immediately, got paid a ton of money. Somebody tell me his name. Starts with a B. I'm forgetting the name. You guys know the name. Starts with a B. Somebody in the chat help me out. I don't like not knowing. Bradford. Sam Bradford. Damn. Can't believe it slipped. So, he was there for Sam Bradford, Jason White. He was at Ohio State. C.J. Stroud. Justin Fields. He developed all these guys. Braxton Miller. Rest in peace, the other guy who got hit by the road. Forgetting his name as well. Man, I can't be drawing blanks tonight. But my point is, Kevin Wilson is a bona fide offensive genius. And he already has a Justin Fields type quarterback at Tulsa. He already has the guy. Braylon Braxton. He was backing up Davis Brin last year. Braylon Braxton, when you guys turn on the tape, he's a damn good quarterback. Dwayne Haskins, the other guy. So this for me, Kevin Wilson at Tulsa is a great head coach. And he brings instant credibility in the state of Oklahoma at Tulsa. They got really good studs in the transfer portal. They did lose their starting linebacker, their best linebacker, and one of their best edge rushers, Goodlow, and one more guy. They're both going to Oklahoma State. They're studs. Forget his name. But I'll find it right now. Justin Wright. So Tulsa loses Justin Wright, and it's unfortunate. But Kevin Wilson, good head coach. I got him going 5-7. Next guy I got is Tom Herman. I got Tom Herman going 5-7 at FAU. He knows what to do in the American. He was there with Houston. Tom Herman knows how to coach. I think he's a great young head coach. Needs to get back to a Power 5 school soon. But, you go down to FAU to revitalize your career. Shout out to Kiffin. Willie Taggart did it. Schnellenberger did it. A bunch of guys go down to FAU after they have a rough patch at a Power 5 school. So Tom Herman, the only difference is he has a quarterback, right? He just got a transfer quarterback that's going to actually be very good in Casey. And then they got some stud players. I like FAU. They lost the stud receiver, Jamal Edrin, to Purdue. But, yeah, FAU, shout out to them. Speaking of Purdue, Ryan Walters at Purdue, new head coach there. Coming over, defensive coordinator from Illinois. Stud, defensive-oriented guy. This is a change in culture because Jeff Brom was just at Purdue, and it's a damn shame. Jeff Brom actually was all offense and no defense, and now Purdue's going to be all defense and no offense, theoretically. They got a Hudson Card, but Ryan Walters is that guy. He's the reason Illinois' defense was so great. They had 3 guys in the secondary get drafted. Ryan Walters developed 0 stars into 5 stars, into first-round draft picks. Shout out to Devin Witherspoon, right? So Ryan Walters is a great coach. I like him. He's young. Kind of keeps it to the vest, though. He doesn't put his stuff out there for anybody else to know. He's not too flashy, but he knows what's going on. I like Ryan Walters. He's only 36 years old. 5-7. I got him going 5-7 next year. Casey Keller, Sam Houston State. Welcome to the FBS. He's not a new coach, but they are new to the FBS, so I put him in the charts. I put him in the poll. I got them going 5-7. This is a guy, Casey Keller, won a national title at Delaware. After they used to run the wing T, he phased that shit out and said, well, I want to win a national title. I think he won it with Joe Flacco. But he was at Delaware for a while. Then he moved over to Sam Houston State, won a national title there, and now they're moving up. So if you don't know, last year, Sam Houston State redshirted all their players. All their starters redshirted. They let the underclassmen play, and all the underclassmen got a ton of experience and a ton of game time in playing. They wanted to save their eligibility because they didn't want to waste years of eligibility while at the FCS level. Now, they still can't play in a bowl game because they're new transitioning, but they want to go out there and win games in the Sun Belt. In Conference USA. I like what they're doing. Congrats, but I still think they go 5-7. They still got a tough schedule. They still got to face good teams. But I like Sam Houston State a lot. They can prove me wrong. They can win more than 5 games, but right now I got them going 5-7. And by the way, all those freshmen and sophomores that actually got in the starting lineup and got a bunch of experience, they were told, hey, now you got to go back to the bench because the starters are going to play next year. Those guys didn't transfer. They didn't hit the transfer portal. They lost one guy to the transfer portal. Their whole team is together. Continuity's real. They did great. So shout out to Sam Houston State and their culture and their head coach, Casey Keller. I really like what he's doing. The next head coach on my list, Matt Rule. I got Matt Rule going 6-6. Now, I can have them winning as many as 9 games if things go right. But right now, realistically, I'm saying 6-6. And the reason for that is simple. Matt Rule always has a slow start at his newest schools. He knows how to build schools. He knows how to do this thing. But at Temple, he went 2-10. And at Baylor, he went 1-11 in his first year at each school. So his first year in Nebraska, I'm saying 6-6 sounds about right. I actually have them losing to Colorado. But he didn't inherit a terrible team. He inherited a good team. And he has a really good transfer portal class. So I got Matt Rule going 6-6. Brent Key at Georgia Tech, overachieving. I've got him going 6-6. Brent Key was an interim coach last year. They went 4-4 in his final 8 games. They looked like they had a lot of fight. They beat some teams they weren't supposed to beat, like North Carolina and Pitt. But then they went and lost to Virginia. It didn't make sense. But still, I like where Georgia Tech's headed. Transfer portal was rocking. Quarterback coach is Chris Weinke. A lot of things about Georgia Tech's appealing. The entire ACC looks like they're upgrading at coaches and talent. So Georgia Tech still isn't going to get over that hump next year, but 6-6 gets them to a bowl game. They're going to win. I hope they'll be there. So I like that. Tim Beck, Coastal Carolina. I think it falls apart. You got Grayson McCall. You have a great quarterback. But Tim Beck is not the kind of coach that I think is going to be successful. He was a 3-time offensive coordinator at NC State, right? 3 years in a row. Just not a good coach. He knows the area. He knows how to recruit in the area. But he's not Jamie Chadwell. Jamie Chadwell's a good coach. And he just left for Liberty, right? So for me, Tim Beck, yeah, they might be okay this year because of Grayson McCall. But they lost Josiah Stewart to Michigan. They lost Willie Lampkin to North Carolina. That's the starting center and the starting edge rusher. They lost 2 of their best players to the transfer portal. And all you have is Grayson McCall in his final year. He didn't want to be there. He was trying to hit the portal, but he couldn't get approved anywhere else. I got a problem with it. I have them going 6-6. I have them sliding pretty bad. I have them not winning all the games that they think they're going to win. They start off the season with UCLA. I think they get hit in the mouth and they don't win that game. True. A lot of people are saying they're going to win that game and it'll be an upset. I'm over here saying, I don't know. Not with this new head coach. I don't like Tim Beck all that much. I really don't. Next, I have Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. He's my 5th ranked coach on the polls. I have him going 6-6. Now, I said they're going to win 4 games initially. Now I'm trending towards 6-7 wins. For me, Coach Prime, doing everything right. Any amount of wins above 5 works for me. They're not going to go 6-6 because if you go 6 wins, you go to a bowl game. So they're going to be 6-7 or 7-6. So you can't say they're going to win 6 games. That's not going to happen unless you think they're going to lose their bowl game. So it's probably more realistic to say they're going to win 7 games. But I have Coach Prime at number 5 in my polls for the best new coach coming into this season. Pretty good spot to be. Hugh Freeze is my number 4 coach. Hugh Freeze, I have him going 6-6 in the SEC. I think he's a great coach. I think he dominated in the transfer portal. Auburn's got some great players, right? Hunter's a great running back. Brian Battie at running back. They got a ton of wide receivers that they just brought in. They got a new quarterback, Thorne. They need to work out and see what happens. But I like Auburn a lot. Just to surprise some teams that don't see them coming. I think Auburn can play. So I like Auburn at 6-6. And then we get to the 3 coaches I think are going to dominate in their first year. I think the 3 coaches that are going to dominate. My 3rd best coach is Jeff Brom at Louisville. Jeff Brom, I think they go 9-3. And that's with them losing to Kentucky. That's with them losing. And they can beat Kentucky. They can. They got it there. But this is the only coach or the only team that I saw get an upgrade at coach despite your head coach leaving for a new job. See, most of the time, you fire your coach and then you hire a new coach to be an upgrade. That's how it works. But when your coach leaves to go get a better job, you usually don't get an upgrade at the quarterback position, at the coaching position. Right? If your coach leaves for a new hire, you backfill with something that's okay. Right? The example would be Jamie Chadwell. Leaving Coastal Carolina, they replaced him with Tim Beck. It's okay. It's not that good. Right? Kenny Burns at Kent State. Sean Lewis leaves. They didn't want him to leave, but you replace him with Kenny Burns. It's okay. It's not the same. You didn't get the same upgrade. When you start seeing head coaches leave for better jobs, you don't get the same thing. Same thing with Ryan Walters. Jeff Brom leaves to go to Louisville, and Ryan Walters goes to Purdue. It's not the same. But it's good. It's just not the same. So the only coaching move I saw where a coach improved his team despite their coach moving up to another school, Louisville. Because Satterfield left to Cincy. Look what Cincy did. Cincy loses Luke Fickell, a great coach, and they replace it with Satterfield. Not quite as good. Right? That's normal. The one phenomenon I've never seen, I very rarely see it, is when your coach gets hired elsewhere, Satterfield gets hired at Cincy, and Louisville finds a better coach. And that's because Jeff Brom's coming home. He's coming home to Louisville, where he's from and adored. Him and his brother, Brian Brom, they played quarterback there. They're both amazing quarterback coaches. They're great at this offense that just throws every other down. I mean, Charlie Jones had over 100 receptions last year because of Jeff Brom. Jeff Brom in the transfer portal absolutely killed it. Some of these websites have Louisville number 1 in the transfer portal rankings, ahead of Colorado. I'm not arguing with them. I think Louisville crushed it. Jamari Thrash is going to be a household name next year. So for me, Louisville 9-3 sounds very realistic. Third best coach next season. Jamie Chadwell's number 2 for me. I have Jamie Chadwell going 10-2 at Liberty. He got a team at Liberty that Hugh Freeze was coaching. Hugh Freeze is a great coach, had great talent on that team. And yes, Liberty has to replace all their running backs because Day Hunter took off. Shedra Lewis went to Tulane. Okay, don't worry about it. They got it figured out. I like Liberty despite a lot of their guys leaving, their defense coordinator leaving. I think Liberty goes 10-2. Liberty just left. They went independent, right? They were independent. Now they're in Conference USA. Pretty easy conference. The easiest Group of 5 conference in the country, and I think Liberty runs through it. So I know Jamie Chadwell knows how to recruit in that area. Jamie Chadwell is great on the East Coast. There's nothing new to him. He's a great coach from Coastal Carolina. I think he does some great things. He also took a young kid with him from Coastal Carolina, one of the young receivers. He said, hey, man, you're so damn good, you can transfer with me. We're going up here. And the number 1 coach on my list, Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell inherited a solid team at Wisconsin and made it infinitely better with a new offensive coordinator, new quarterback, new skill receivers, new everything. Luke Fickell knows what he's doing. This is the greatest coach in Cincinnati history. I see Luke Fickell doing his thing. I think they go 11-1. I think Wisconsin goes 11-1 next year, and I think Luke Fickell rocks out. So that's my top 25 new head coaches and hires. Sorry for being so long-winded and just talking. Let me get to your guys' questions, and we'll call it a night. Likely there already are schools like Stanford and Duke use their selective admissions to combat the transfer portal with big-time qualified high school guys. Yeah, so David Pithen, it sucks, man. Duke can do all the transfers they want. Duke has no issues. Duke is letting all the transfers in, undergraduate transfers. They can get anybody. Stanford is not. Stanford's only letting Ivy League guys in or no undergraduate transfers. They're just not doing it. They don't care. They've already made it clear. And this is why David Shaw went and resigned. So, yeah, you got to try to get your best high school players, but you can't keep up with transfer portals. You got a team like USC going 4 wins, hitting the transfer portal offseason, hiring Lincoln Riley, and all of a sudden you're a conference champ again. You're in the championship again. That fast. Boom. Overnight. Stanford can't do that. So you got to recruit. You got to think out the box. You got to find guys who do less with more or do more with less. Shout out to Troy Taylor and what he's going to do in Northern California. He knows how to recruit that place well. Find hidden gems like Cameron Scadaboo and like he did at Sacramento State. Find guys like Marty Mapow, but you got to find them to come to Stanford. So Yeah, recruiting's great. I looked at his entire recruiting class. He has 20 guys committed already. I went and looked at the tape of all 20 guys at Stanford. I found 4 or 5 studs. One of them I think is going to be a complete bust and hit the transfer portal before he ever plays it down. But I liked a lot of them. Do you think Iyabi Anomo could come close to reaching his potential this year? Trent, I don't know. I don't know what potential is. I don't know what hype is. I don't know what people are expecting of these kids and players. That's how I feel. So, Satterfield's tenure at Louisville was so strange. Yeah, especially the way he quit the job. He quit via FaceTime. He didn't meet any of his players. He just said it over. He didn't have a big meeting like Coach Prime did and let them all know, hey guys, I'm leaving. I'm taking a new job. No, he just bounced. He said, I don't know these kids anything. I'm not their coach anymore. I'm out of here. It's just a cutthroat way to go. Navy's defense was awful, but they promoted the defense coordinator to head coach. I don't get it. Yeah, they said it's the best defense they've had in 4 years. He got hired back in 2019. He's been improving their defense every single year. I looked into it. Trust me. So what do guys like Sam Horn and Brady Cook when Drink brings in Jake Garcia? Are they better off sitting and trying to win the quarterback battle? Transfer after the... So, David Pithen, you have a new offensive coordinator in Kirby Moore. So you have to decide, can you beat out Jake Garcia? Now, they probably can't. That's why they brought in Jake. And they're young, though. Sam Horn's young. Brady Cook's young. I think you transfer. Because go find somewhere else where you want it and go play. Gotta bounce, Rico. Thanks for the live. Thank you very much. Bradford Hawkins, thank you guys for the chat. Yeah, go transfer and go where you're wanted. Does Stanford need coaches like Tulsa's head coach to make players convinced that they would develop rather than transferring out, not playing them either? No, David Pitton, Stanford just needs to find stud players who value education. They've always done it. That's who they are. They just need to go find the Toby Gerhardts of the world, the Christian McCaffreys, the Andrew Lucks. They can do it. They just need to find the professional players and develop them. That's it. That's all they can do. And then they need to keep them. Their entire offensive line hit the transfer portal this year. The starting offensive line, Drake Nugent will be the starting center at Michigan, and he's going to be an absolute monster and be a draft pick in the first 4 rounds of the draft. They have every starter from Stanford's offensive line transferred. And then Drake Metcalf, one of their best offensive linemen from St. John Bosco, transferred to UCF. Gone. It's like they just lost everybody that mattered at Stanford with Shaw getting fired and then a new coaching staff coming in. So they just got to start all over. That's all it is. Tons of good info. No one out there is doing what you're doing. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, Trent. No one is. I prepare every day like it's my last, and I put in all the work I can. Make sure I have all the answers I can. Just remember, guys, your friends don't know, but obviously Rico knows. Thanks for hanging out with us every single night. Just, you guys know the deal. Go to ricoknows.org for merchandise. Keep watching our show every night and support us. That's all we can do. And we'll keep growing. Thank you, guys.
I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much.